When you think about watching cartoons, you're probably imagining watching them on your TV, on your computer, or on your phone. But actually, there are millions of people around the world who go to a location to watch cartoons in a way that doesn't often get talked about, and that's in theme parks. So today, I'm going to talk about animation on location. Hey there, welcome back to Surviving Animation, your guide to making it in the business of cartoons. My name's Eric Calderon. I apologize, I haven't put out a video in a long time, but I've got a pretty good reason for that. I actually recently gave birth to my first daughter, which was really exciting and life-changing. And then my entire family and I moved to Orlando, Florida, where I now work with a company called Falcons Beyond, who, among other things, actually makes theme parks. So it's been a really exciting time. I've learned a lot. And today I hope to share a little bit of what I've learned about animation for location with you. So let's get started. Okay, let's start with the first and most obvious thing about making animation on location, and that is the cartoon and the media and the architecture and design of the actual place have to work together because they're both telling the story. Now that's quite a bit of new information for me. It's very different to work in this kind of medium, but it's really fascinating to think that the actual media that's playing on top of the screen and the physical props, the direction of the vehicle, the scenic elements that actually compromise the totality of the story actually immerse you what you would consider your full piece of entertainment. So even though you may be a traditional storyteller, even though you may have characters that live in a fictional world, remember that in an immersive experience and a location-based experience, the actual architecture becomes part of the story and your viewer is in it. So the first thing I learned is actually that, incredibly, the story on the screen and the actual physical location itself have to work together. All right, the next thing I learned in making animation on location is that often the actual direction of the actual cartoon, of the animation, is what Steven Spielberg once referred to as a oneer. In other words, it's one long shot. There are no cuts. So what's really new for a lot of traditional animation directors is that they might think cinematically, they might think with storyboards, they might think about cuts and close-ups, but in the world of immersive entertainment, in the world of an actual ride, you don't cut away to camera unless perhaps you go to an entirely different scene and a whole new screen starts up and plays something new. So remember, in short, every shot's a oneer. The next to last thing I learned in making animation on location is that there's one character that's actually in every single piece of immersive entertainment. And you might be surprised to hear it, you might not, but that main character is you. In other words, the actual audience or person participating in the ride becomes the main character. So in terms of LBE or location-based entertainment, they talk about this as giving agency to the consumer. So they want to give that person on the ride a role, a mission, kind of something to do. And oftentimes characters on screen will talk directly to you, the viewer, and interact or in a way or kind of let you know that you're part of the ride. So it's a big shift in how we write. It's a big shift in how we think about how story is told. But remember, you could have this great fictional story, you could have this great character and these great worlds, but the person you have to include is the person on the ride itself. All right, the last and potentially controversial thing that I learned from being in location-based entertainment, and there might be those of you who argue the semantics of this, but I found, to my surprise, that in the world of location-based entertainment, in the world of immersive entertainment, not everybody wants a story, but they do want a storied experience. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, when we think about these incredible rides, actually just the other day I went on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride in Epcot. It was an incredible experience. There was some of the highest technology I've ever been on. There was thrills and spins and all this kind of crazy stuff and gravity drops, and just they really took you to a place that was just beyond my imagination in terms of what I've ever experienced. But at the same time, I was struck by the fact that, in my personal opinion, the story itself almost got in the way. They were trying to really tell this story about time travel and a missing object and kind of a MacGuffin. And, you know, I don't want to get into the spoilers of what happens, but my takeaway was, what an awesome ride, what an awesome set of effects. But it wasn't necessarily, oh, I remember that story, I remember those characters. And to be honest, even some of the big celebrities who were in that ride didn't feel like that was the best performance they'd ever given. I'm not sure if it was a fault of the writing or a fault of their performance or just wasn't that inspired. But I came to the conclusion, and I found in discussing this matter with a lot of people who work in entertainment, is that story is important, but it's just not important in the same kind of way that we might think of as plot, that we might think of as, you know, a traditional story structure or a 3-act structure. We're trying to get across this feeling, this emotion, this immersive experience. And yes, it should be storied. You should leave feeling like you were transported to another place, but it's not necessarily a story in the way that characters may change. There may be a sense of growth. There's kind of a beginning, middle, and end in the traditional screenplay format. It's just different. So it's a big kind of thing I'm trying to wrap my head around. I hope you can wrap your head around it too. But just remember, at least in my opinion, not everybody wants story, but they do want a storied experience. All right, that's all I have to say at the moment for Animation on Location. If you like the kind of material that I put on my channel, or you like to talk a little bit about more cartoons, you can please follow me here or follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on both those platforms, and I hope to be making a few more videos a little closer together. I think I'm getting used to fatherhood, used to living in Florida, and hopefully we can get this channel back up and running. So thank you for your patience. Thank you if you're watching for the first time, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.